In the ocean of AAA games, AA batteries, and even the elusive quadruple-A game, there's a lot of time that goes into these lovely 9-volt pieces of media that we all love just so very much. And there's one in particular that caught my eye, and I haven't let go of it yet. You may know Saber Interactive from the fantastic Space Marine 2 or World War Z. You may have heard of Saber Interactive before. I mean, they made this absolutely amazing, fantastical game with Titus in it called Space Marine 2. Also, they made this other great zombie game called World War Z. The movie was not as good as the books, accept your facts. Like, it's a better action movie. Don't give it the World War Z title. Give it something else. Anyways. But if you've played video games in, let's say, the past 20 years, you've actually probably have played a game that they worked on and you didn't even know it. The first game, Will Rock, released in 2003 to mixed reception. Further advancements within their own engine led to their next title, Time Shift. I did play this. A more ambitious game that used time manipulation as its tentpole mechanic. In the early 2000s, the E3 show floor had a whole different weight to it than just kiosks at a Summer Game Fest pop-up event. If your game made poor impressions in its demo phase, that could lead to some very serious discussions and even more serious changes to the game. After demos were poorly received, feedback from the experience caused Saber to make an important decision in regards to Time Shift's fate, deciding that the best direction for the time-sensitive title, get it, would be going through a creative overhaul. Released in 2007, changing massive parts of the game due to reception, proved early on how Saber adapts to change, still ultimately receiving mixed views, but more favorable views compared to what was at E3. The year is 2001.
Citizens of the world, we are in deep doo-doo. Aliens. There's a lot of them, and they're meanies. As peace-loving humans, we must take up arms. And by arms, I mean guns. United, we will form a giant can opener, and we will open a giant can of whoop-ass.
Halo Combat Evolved.
10 years later, 343 Industries approached Saber to make Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. COO Andrew Loon said it was an opportunity that we couldn't miss. This would mark the very first time that they worked on another franchise that wasn't their own. But oh boy, was it not the last. Montage of the million games they've done. Saber's doing something a little different now. They've always in-house developed games across the multiple studios that have been established over the years, but they found great success in primarily working on as a support studio in a variety of areas. In 2019, when World War Z came out and graced the world by filling that Left 4 Dead-sized hole in our hearts, and also that swarm mesh they have is insane. This was the first time Saber set their sights on making their own in-house developed action game in quite a while. Selling over 1 million units in its first week, this set them down the path that defined where they are now as a studio and a business. On August 1st, 2019, Tim Willits joined as Chief Creative Officer. If that name also sounds familiar, he worked on a teensy-weensy game in the 90s called Doom. Yeah, he's also known for claiming to be the first person to ever conceptualize the idea of multiplayer maps. That's a weird one, but since he joined, he's helped continue to steer the studio in a direction that makes more high-quality games, with high-profile partnerships that are dedicated to adapting the material in a way that satisfies both its audience and successfully translates to the game's medium. Space Marine. Sometime following Space Marine 2's success, I saw a headline that made me go, holy shit. What? Actually, I've more like frozen place, shat myself than told everyone. And that was Space Marine 3. And then there was more. How are they doing this? So let's go over everything exciting that Saber Interactive has in store for us. Let's go through them in no particular order, but they've all got something uniquely interesting about them. So let's start with a game that's electric and spooky. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. A co-op horde shooter that looks to be succeeding the ideas from World War Z. And yes, that John Carpenter. Apparently, he was the one to reach out to them with an idea and is heavily involved in the development of this game. After the reveal, he had this to say. It's exciting to be collaborating on a new video game studio with Focus and Saber. Look, I really like shooting zombies. They keep telling me that they're called infected. Please, they're ghouls, dude. They blow up real good, and there are a ton of them. Never change, John, never change. Release for this game, TBD. Jurassic Park Survival. Jurassic Park Survival is a single-player survival horror game set on the dinosaur-ridden Isla Nublar. You play as the InGen scientist who wasn't able to evacuate after the events of the film, left behind trying to survive in ways that feel reminiscent of alien isolation. Reactive wildlife, dinosaurs, and other surprising threats. We don't know much right now, but I think this is going to be one to look out for. Release TBD. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 3. That's all I have to say. I could start talking and never stop talking about this one. If you know me, then you know. So I'll give you all the words straight from the Servo Skull's mouth about everything that we do know. On March 13th, 2025, quote, "Today we are thrilled to announce that the adventure will continue with Space Marine 3. Players can look forward to an immersive campaign, a multiplayer mode, and innovations that will redefine the standards of third-person action games. Developed in close collaboration with Games Workshop, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 3 will take the genre to new heights by introducing large-scale battles that are even more spectacular. Announcing a sequel to the best Warhammer 40 game 6 months after record sales is mastermind behavior, and it just makes sense. I'm really excited to see my boy Titus again. TBD, of course. No surprise. Turok Origins. Keeping up with Space Marine 2's example of making a sequel to a well-deserved but neglected franchise, we have Turok Origins. Turok is a survival action dinosaur franchise that started in 1995. Its last entry was a story reboot in 2008. This time around, we're taking on dinos in third person, which is the first for the series. TBD, don't know much on this. Avatar RPG Ice Wars. On October 3rd, 2024, Paramount Game Studios and Saber announced their collaboration to make, in their words, the biggest video game in franchise history. Players can expect to be immersed in a vibrant world, master all 4 elements, engage in dynamic combat alongside companions, and experience the challenges and decisions that come with being the keeper of balance. Original show creators Michael Dante and Brian Konatensko are reportedly writing parts of the story and helping create the world. Its working title, Ice Wars, is set 7,000 years before The Last Airbender. The story starts with a cataclysmic event that causes an ice age. There's reason to believe there will be customizable protagonists, but aside from that, and Ba Sing Se being confirmed as a playable location, we don't really know much else. Release TBD. That concludes the overwhelming number of highly ambitious games in development. I don't know how Saber is doing it, but I'm really excited to actually see everything released. They're also supposedly working on the KOTOR remake after Asper got drunk and lost the keys to the studio, and at this point, I don't even know if Saber remembers they're making it, but I guess that's one we'll just have to wait on. People make games, but like all companies, it is a business. Saber Interactive is owned by large companies. As a video game enjoyer, what Saber is doing is great, but just remember, these studios are multifaceted is all I'm trying to say. Saber Interactive and Focus Entertainment are setting themselves up as the king of licensed IP, and I couldn't be more excited about it, honestly. They're doing a really good job. Which of these are you most excited for? I'm an absolute Warhammer fanatic, so Space Marine 3 absolutely has my heart. Well, let me rephrase it, Titus has my heart. But what other franchises deserve a proper AAA video game, or the elusive quadruple A? Let me know in the comments, and I really hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you want more of these. Goodbye.